Welcome to the Stronger Together podcast brought to you by Sandpoint Strength and Conditioning. I'm your coach, Kenny Marquardt, and today I'm joined by Courtney Altringer. Courtney, she's got such a phenomenal attitude and just presence in the gym. I really enjoyed our conversation. We talk about youth athletics and kind of how her perspective shaped her performance and abilities, etc., and also how she's managed her evolution as an athlete and beyond her sport, which, as you may have figured out, I have a bit of an axe to grind with those in youth sports and youth coaching and how kids kind of have to deal with some of that stuff. And I think she's such a phenomenal representation of what that can be if done really well. So I love this conversation. I hope and I know that you will too. Before we get into that, though, don't forget we are brought to you by Momentous Supplements. You can get 15% off your order by going to livemomentous.com and entering the code word Sandpoint Strength, all one word. Enjoy. All right. We are live, as promised. We had to interrupt our dogs in bed versus dogs not in bed conversation to bring Courtney live on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So, Courtney, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And you are no longer a staunch no dogs in beds in the future.
Next dog will be no dogs in bed. Yes. Yeah. I need my sleep.
Why do I feel like Chris is going to be the one to ruin that? Is that true? I mean, maybe that's an unfair estimation, but.
So he's really strict when we get the dogs and he's a great trainer. But then once they're trained, he kind of lets them run free and just spoils them and bothers them. And so he always wants them in the bed. And I'm like, no,
yeah,
I can't. Because they don't cuddle him as much. They cuddle me. And
so you're just forced to deal with the repercussions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
So it's not going to happen.
Yeah. That's what you say. I said that too. And now here we are with our stuffed animal.
That's true.
So I always start this off with when you started the gym, and I distinctly remember this because I was you were the unfortunate recipient of my coaching for your foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I remember that.
It was Chris Altringer. I remember that. Chris was in the system as Chris Altringer, which I think gave you a lot of laughs.
Yes. Still love that.
Yeah. I think we should change it back, actually. I should do that after this.
I still try to bring it back. People at Schweitzer will call him Chris Altringer.
That's good. I like that too.
It's
makes
fitting.
Sense. It actually makes sense.
He'll listen to this and be like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I told him, I was like, I'll change my name if you do all the paperwork. And he never did the paperwork. So I was like,
yeah, good for you. That was a good bet.
Yeah.
What I loved about you guys, you guys are both really accomplished athletes. You were both really move really well. You've had a lot of experience, which we'll probably get into here. But I appreciated your attitude and receiving the coaching. From my point of view, and you've probably seen this at your time in the gym, there are people that come in with this well, I've done this before. I don't need any help. You guys are just very eager to be coached and helped and nursed along. And I really appreciated that. And that was cool. So,
yeah, I think, Chris has always been really coachable. I've definitely, I've had to adapt to it. I wasn't always very coachable probably, but it's good to get into it and, hear different perspectives and always be learning something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't get coached that much because I'm in that gym. I think one of the things I say in our trainings for the new coaches is you have to, don't be shy to coach me. I'm not, I don't expect to know everything. If you don't coach me, I'm probably actually going to be a little bit more disappointed than if you do coach me, even if it's whatever, kind of obvious. So don't be afraid to coach me. So our coaches do try and
you want us to call you out in class.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. No, not at all. I'm invincible. That's why I don't work out with anybody. I just, hide in the corner. But yeah, the coaching side, I think that's I don't know. I think there's a maturity in the ability to just take feedback and say, okay, this is might be different, but it's good.
Definitely agree.
And so let's talk about that. What your back? We don't need to involve Chris in all this stuff. Let's forget about him for a while.
Yeah.
Tell me about your background, your history as an athlete.
Yeah. So I grew up ski racing, and I grew up ski racing at Schweitzer. And, my dad was the one that was really passionate about it. He had brought me into the sport, and he actually was a Division I cross country runner at Montana State. And he ended up getting kicked off the team because he wanted to learn how to ski. And so then he got myself and my sister into it and could just tell from a young age that like I just loved going fast apparently. And he's like, this one is going into ski racing. So he you know, brought me up through that and it was just such a great sport to it teaches you a lot. You have to be really independent. You have to remember your gear. You have to get to the start. You have to, I think he sent me on a bus for my first ski trip alone at like age 10 and just sent me off to a camp and was like, all right, good luck. Like, here's $100 and they'll take care of you. And, through that, I kind of was doing some sports, but nothing really stuck. Wasn't very good at a lot of them. And I had a personal trainer when I was younger, and she was awesome. She was like this gal that just her motto was beat the boys. And so she would
Nice.
go as hard as she possibly could all the time, which was like, as a teenage girl, pretty intense, but a great role model at that point in time. And then beyond that, I ended up going into college ski racing. Um, that was kind of an interesting path. I had no idea what I was going to do my senior year. And one of my friends looked at me and was like, Courtney, you have to go. Like, there's nothing left for you here. Let's email every school we can that has a Division I ski team. And sent them all out, ended up getting some responses. And this is like April of my senior year.
My gosh.
Yeah. And yeah, I ended up visiting New Mexico and I was like, it's sunny here. And the coach said, it's a Nike-based team. And I was like, cool, I'm in.
Oh, what?
Which
What'd you
meant,
say?
a Nike-based team.
Oh,
So I got like all the Nike gear. I was like,
nice.
sweet, sign me up.
Nice. All right.
Um,
That's all it took. Yep.
yeah, it was sunny and I got Nike gear. So,
Yeah.
but our trainer in college was an Olympic weightlifter instructor. And so he was like really diligent on form. And we just go as hard as we could and worked out 6, 7 days a week. We'd have these workouts called Puke Fridays, where you just go as hard as you could and sometimes puke, sometimes pass out, whatever it was. So yeah, and then it, just evolved and I definitely have a love for working out, which I'm really grateful for. And luckily we found you guys.
Yeah, I think the inverse is also true. We're lucky to have you guys. And I mean, I'm not saying that just to kiss your ass. Like, you guys are awesome. You guys bring smiles every morning, and it's well received and well appreciated by everybody.
Yeah, we have
Wait, I
fun.
want to know, how did your dad get kicked off of the ski team for running cross country?
Opposites. We got kicked off the running team
Oh,
for
sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Sorry, right.
He just kept missing practice because he was going out there and I guess it was like dangerous and they were like, you got to make a choice. And he just got the boot. So he's like, cool. I picked skiing anyways.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to hear that because it sounded like
Yeah.
there was maybe more to the story that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. New Mexico is not the place you'd think of, I guess, as a ski destination for college, especially as a
No.
D1 school. I just haven't skied
Yeah.
over in New Mexico, so maybe I'm
Yeah.
missing out.
It's honestly, it's an acquired taste, a really acquired taste. But we're at the same elevation almost as Denver.
Hmm.
And then the mountain that we would ski at, Red River, was around 10 to 11,000 feet elevation. It's like we don't get a lot of snow, but we get some snow and it's really great training.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty
Just because of
cool.
variable conditions, because it's not a lot of snow. Just you got to make do
Yeah,
with what
they
you
just
got.
get a little bit of snow and then it sets up really well because it's sunny and then gets really cold at night. So it worked out.
Yeah. So where was that
hmm
school based?
Albuquerque.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Breaking Bad.
yeah. Not high on the list of but I feel like that might be one of those destinations I'm missing out on. Like, I feel like the high desert down there might be cool.
We love it. We
Yeah,
love going back. And I couldn't live there, but it like holds a very special place in my heart.
I can see that. I mean, I feel like it's down in that same region that a lot of people like to go, but New Mexico's not often on that list for people.
No. And they have like the balloon fiesta and green chili and all the good things.
Yeah.
People are missing out.
All right. Well, now we'll blow up Albuquerque.
Yeah.
This our 100 listeners are gonna ruin Albuquerque for everybody.
Oh, it's gonna get a huge tourist
Hammered.
rush. Yeah. Yeah.
What's it like skiing in school or for school?
It was really interesting. So I went in and I was the only freshman that they had. And growing up, it's very much an individual sport. And once you get to college, it becomes a team sport because you are, racing for yourself, but it's all about team points. So the better your teammates do, the better you do as a whole. And I loved that switch. And you also get really close with all the other teams. So we raced against like Denver University, University of Colorado, Montana State, Utah, Alaska. And it's just like this very tight knit community. But being the only freshman on the team, I went in and I was like, okay, there's no complaining allowed. Like I just keep my mouth shut and I do my work and like go as hard as I can, and that's all. Um, and it just became a really, really rewarding experience. And we got a lot of international people because ski racing is much
Mm,
bigger over in Europe.
yeah.
So just got some culture experience and, um, a lot of like big brothers and, a few other gals on the team that were like big sisters. And so it was just a great time.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
What a, I'm gonna ask some naive questions because while I'm
Oh yeah, go
understanding
for
this,
it.
what event did you race?
So we did tech events. So
Okay.
it would be giant slalom and slalom. Up until college, you can race speed, but once you go into college, they don't do that anymore. And I was grateful for it. I took some pretty big diggers, and I was done with the speed
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. How did you survive college? I mean physically, like what did because it seems like in a
Yeah.
sport like you come out with some knee surgeries as an expectation.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of knee surgeries. I, knock on wood, was not one that had that, but I had a lot of concussions. So that was kind of my downside. We trained really hard in the spring and the fall, and then in the summer it was like on yourself to do the training and do as much as you could. So that just gave us a lot of prep work. Definitely more skiing specific training, so really strength around the knees, tight core, that kind of thing. And then through the season, we would take some off days, like probably one off day. And so you'd be exhausted by the end, but, just trying to take care of yourself as much as you could. And I was definitely one that would go for more quality over quantity. Like some people just want reps on runs and go and go and go and go. And I was like, I knew my body couldn't handle that. So it was like, all right, I'm going to make 4 really good runs, really have my mental space done, and then, call it good.
There's got to be some fear. I mean, you kind of like you're pushing the edge. Like speed is you're kind of riding that line.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you had that as a kid. Like you kind of enjoyed that. But at what point or was there a point at which you're like, all right, this is all I got?
Yeah. It definitely comes later, like when you start doing the speed events and you take a really bad fall,
Yeah.
um, that will definitely kind of impact you. And then you have to get back in the gate and get going again and build up that confidence again. And definitely a lot of failure and a lot of like, could this potentially be the case again where I'm just like face planting and mangling my body? Or, is it going to be that I just make it down? And like the moment that you have that doubt in your mind is typically when it's going to happen. So you have to really get in there and like not let that affect how you're going about the course. But yeah, I'd say like you definitely have to pick yourself back up, kind of block out the bad things that happened, and just mentally prepare for having as much confidence as you can to go down.
Yeah.
And that would definitely help you get back to the point where you're like, okay, I can do this again. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of fear, and sometimes there's some really sketchy courses or really sketchy sets and or conditions, and you just have to like do the best you can and trust that you've done as much training as possible to get you there. So that was a definitely important factor.
I'd imagine watching other competitors go down too would be one of those like, oh crap, now it's
Yeah,
my
I
turn.
didn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Some people loved it, and I was like, not gonna watch anybody unless I really trust them, like, and I know that they're very capable, then I
Yeah.
will. But otherwise, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Gnarly. Did you retain your passion for the sport after you finished school?
I really did, because I honestly didn't stay in ski racing because I loved the speed suits and the running gates and all that kind of stuff. Like, I stayed in it because I loved the people,
Hmm.
and I just made sure that I was always having fun. Like,
Yeah.
if I was having fun, it was a good day. And if I was surrounded by people that were a good time, like that's all that mattered. So then getting out of it, I think it's definitely an adjustment, you know, kind of going into free skiing and like finding the joy again with that. But I love it so much. Like you can't beat a good powder day, and or even just like a crap day, but you're fun with fun people, then it's still good. Like you can't go wrong.
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure. But I also see the counter where people just like they do their sport and they're like, I'll never do this again. I don't care. I know I
Yeah.
like kind of did my thing and I'm over it.
Yeah. I've seen that. And
Yeah.
I actually do have a lot of other teammates that kind of went that route. And I think it's when they were doing it because it was a process for them and it was an expectation. And it wasn't because they loved skiing. It was like they've made it this far, and so they're just completing the task.
Yeah.
Um,
How was your dad like with the coaching side of that? Because I'm such a like I have this big axe to grind with youth sports and like how parents handle that for their kids. Like it sounds like you enjoyed it, and that's what I hope for most. Like I don't think
yeah.
the amount of people that are actually going to make an income or even compete at the level you did is so infinitesimally small. Like it's retaining the passion of it's really I think the important thing. What was his impact, or how did he manage that, or did he have an impact on that for you?
He definitely did. Not a negative one, luckily, for
Yeah.
the most part. Like, um, he was my coach for a couple of years, and I think when I hit age 12, he was like, "All right, I'm done. Like, I won't be my daughter's coach anymore." And that was like before we'd even got at that point. He was just like, "I just know that she needs to go and do this with somebody else, not with me." So he was pretty good about that. I mean, he was at like every race though, a lot of training, always coming to help out. Like he loves the sport. So like that was good and bad. And then him being at races was like also good and bad.
Yeah.
Or he'd just text me because you can watch like the timing from the races. And he'd be like, "Oh, what happened that run?" I'm like, "Well, nothing happened. I was just slow, but thanks." So yeah. Yeah. So there's those situations. But otherwise, like he was overall really good. And he just loved that I loved it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is, I mean, being a coach, because I did coach for a year and Chris coaches, and you see a lot of just nutty parents going into it. And it's like, just back off. Let your kid
Yeah.
enjoy what they want to enjoy. And, yeah, that's tough.
Yes, I feel like there would be advantages to ski racing because the course is like you fly by your kid in a split second. So it's like when I watch it in soccer or basketball, the parents are just on there just berating their kids or the refs or the coach or whoever. So I can see the advantage of having less impact while you're sitting there on the sidelines
Yeah,
watching them. So
yeah, yeah. It's definitely.
what was coaching like for you afterwards? So you did it for a year. Was it a just not a thing you enjoyed, or did you just have other stuff you wanted to move on to?
Yeah, it was a little, to me, I enjoyed like watching the kids improve, watching them enjoy it. I really enjoyed free skiing with them because you just get to watch them have fun. But it wasn't challenging enough for me in the sense of like my brain, I guess, or how far I could go with it. That was the hard part. Um, yeah, and it just wasn't it. I'm also a little bit harsh. I'm pretty honest and sometimes not super delicate. So that was like not great for kids.
What age group was this?
I think I had 13 and 14-year-olds.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they're an
So
age where they can, yeah.
they were fine with it, but yeah.
It's less babies. Like the younger Garrison did SARS, he must have been 7 and 8. I think he did it for 2 years. And at that point, it's a lot of babysitting and like less actual. Like, I mean, he learned a lot from the program, but it seemed like it was a lot more babysitting than it was coaching.
Yeah. I will not go below age 12. I'll help
Yeah.
out every once in a while and I'm like, no younger than 12 for me.
Yes. So that's same in the gym. Like Nick's got the younger group, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not helping out with that one, buddy. Sorry. The older group, sure, I can handle them. They seem like they can. If I let a swear word rip, like they're not gonna be all shocked and freaked out. The older
Yeah.
group shouldn't be. So
Yeah.
how was there any draw? Or were you talented enough to go on after school? I can go to ski in Europe or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I did go to Europe a couple times, and my senior year was my best year actually. So like I had scored my lowest points. My one claim to fame was that I had beat Michaela Shiffrin on one run, and I was like, yeah. So
Nice.
there was hope. My dad was like, if you want to go further or ski another year, like I'll cover it. I was like, I love this sport, but where else am I going to go with it?
Yeah.
I was kind of at a tipping point when I was a little bit younger of making the D team and things didn't work out there. And so then at that point, it was like, I was pretty butthurt about it. Um, and then I was trying to go to Denver University for my school, and they picked basically all the gals that I was competing with, and I was the lone one that didn't get selected. And so then I was like, well, what am I going to do?
Yep.
And it ended up being the best possible thing for me. Like things really worked out how they were supposed to work out. I don't think I would have thrived on the US ski team. I think it would have been very, very siloed, and I would have been not the team factor that I really thrived on. I wouldn't have met Chris. That would have been a bummer.
Yeah, right.
Um, so, like things worked out how they were supposed to work out. But having faith in that is pretty hard when you're in it. And especially when you're like 17.
Totally. That's my least favorite thing to hear. It's one of my favorite things to tell people, but it's one of my least favorite things to hear. It's like, this is going to be for the best. Screw you.
Yeah. Like how?
This
Tell me
sucks.
how.
Exactly. How is this going to make sense? I want to know exactly at what point I'm going to look back and think, yeah, that was the right thing. 'Cause that's hard. Like you
Yeah.
said, at 17, I think your perspective on the world is just so much narrower to understand, like,
Hmm.
what else is going to happen. So what did you come back to Sandpoint after school then?
Yep. Yep. I came back to Sandpoint, coached at Schweitzer with SARS for a year. And at that point, I just told Chris, I was like, hey, I'm moving home. Come if you want. And if you don't, then, figure it out, I guess. So that's how I got him up here. And then we both coached for a year and,
Nice.
moved back to Spokane for my job for a couple of years. And then our goal was always to get back here because we just loved it so much.
Yeah. Did you guys move back here right before you started the gym? Is that what I remember? Was that?
Yeah. So we had bought a house in 2019, early 2019. And our goal was like, okay, let's 5 years, 5 years, maybe we can do this. And then COVID hit and we had renters in our house and they had to bail for some family stuff. And so we looked at each other and we were like, we can move back.
Yeah.
And moved back, renovated our house, lived in it while we were doing it. Slept on the subfloor with a camping pad for like 2 months, no
Yep.
doors, no
Mm-hmm.
kitchen. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And I was always passionate about like continuing to work out. And so then I had looked at gyms.
Yep.
I don't even remember if I'd asked anybody, but I was like hesitant about CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we met with Jen and I was like, all right, well, we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. And we just kind of fell into it and we're like, this is great. The community is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a weird. I try and convey that to people where I'm like, look, I know you're not starting to make friends, but you're gonna make the best friends. Like you're gonna meet the best people. It's
Yeah.
just I think it's what keeps people around. I think most people come in for some athletic pursuit or body comp, whatever it is. But then what keeps them around is the people. So
Yeah, truly.
I think especially like for those of us that have played team sports and that really resonated. Like I was so used to practice, like every day, practice
Mhm.
after school, for I don't know, 20 years or however long it was. The group and the team aspect or the feel, even if it's not really a team, by the strictest sense of the word, like that's what I think resonates with me the most. It's like, okay, cool. We're here. It's practice. Like we're going to have fun, screw around. We're going to get work done. And then I don't know. So
Yeah. Oh, well, 6 a.m. definitely has our fair share of screwing around and getting our work done. A little bit of everything.
totally. No, it's the best. I've said that many times. Like you guys are the like getting up, especially in the middle of freaking winter when it's dark until 9 a.m. or whatever, to crawl out of bed and go and do that can be hard. But 6 a.m. that group, you guys make it so easy. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but when I did, I mean, it's just always, for whatever reason, that group has always had like their own personality and gusto. And yeah, you guys make it easy to get out of bed and come watch the circus go on.
Yeah. I love that. I think Jenny said it was like TV for her watching us. It's like, I'm so glad we're entertaining.
Totally. No, exactly. And you guys are oftentimes, I don't know how many times I've said this publicly, but like you guys are kind of the guinea pigs. Like it's like, wow, this workout might need to get changed, but at least I'll find out what's going to happen here with this group. And they'll be willing guinea
Yeah.
pigs. And then I can make it like, I can change it up later if I need to.
Yeah, we're definitely game for that. And we do notice it too. It's fun. Well, I notice it. Maybe other people don't. I'm like, okay, well, we're definitely trying this one out for some good measure, but it's all right. We're here to work out, so might as well do it.
We place bets. We have wagers behind the scenes to say whether or not you guys will do it. And I don't think anybody's ever
Oh.
lost the. Yeah, no, not really.
I was like, wow. I'm like, have we ever proven you wrong? Has anybody ever been like, I'm not doing that?
No, that's exactly. Yeah, no, they have not. There's actually probably some. This is a long time ago, but there's some interesting stories there where like the workouts or programming got totally misinterpreted. Like, so the workout was like double what it was supposed to be, and 6 a.m. did it, and it was like, I mean, this is a long time ago. This is probably 10 years ago, but still, it's like 6 a.m. like just kind of trudged through. It's like, holy crap, that was a bad idea. They should not.
Yeah.
Have, someone should have said something.
Oh my gosh. I can
Yeah.
see it though. We do.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit dangerous. Like there's no limiters on on that group. You just throw it out and see what happens. So
Yeah. Yeah, their game. It's pretty funny.
what's your like what's the transition for you been as an athlete to I mean I think based on your outside endeavors and everything you're like I would it's hard to like shuck that identity as an athlete or a part of a team and evolve into a non-team. You know what I mean? Like is that
Mhm.
coming through in any way that makes sense where it just
I think so. Just like shifting
yeah, all of a sudden your
out of
identity
it.
is kind of shaken off. Like you don't have that stuff anymore. And if you've had it for 20 years, it can be different.
It's definitely, I think a lot of people have identity crisis with it, right? And I
Hmm.
noticed especially the men in ski racing, like shifting out of it, they have really struggled with it. And
Yeah.
some people that it goes back to again, like I did it because it was fun and because I love the people, not because it was like the only thing I knew.
Hmm.
Um, and so with that shifting out of it, like I kind of left it in the dust for a little bit and didn't mention it. And I've been coming back to it more so now of like, okay, well, it's still a part of me. It's really shaped who I am. So I need to remember to include that in my life and like not just say that was history. I think I still love a team factor. Um, and you can find that in different areas, I think is what I'm getting to.
Yeah. What about the sense of like I don't get a really competitive feel from you. So in the gym, I don't see it as like you're not trying to beat everybody. Like I've seen it a couple times where there's like little thing, but I don't
Mhm.
see that you're like, oh my God, like, I gotta win or like I don't get that like tenacious kind of.
Yeah. I love like I so here's the weird thing is people always like think that I'm going to be ultra competitive because I was in a Division 1 sport. I'm more competitive with myself in that I want to push myself a
Yeah.
little bit, but I'm never going to be mad at somebody else for doing really well or for somebody like, lifting more weight or whatever. Like that's a great thing to do. So yeah, I think I have a little bit of it where I just want to be better for myself and not so much of I have to beat everybody.
How the hell do you do that? I mean, I'm not saying the only reason I ask because I as a coach, like I would love for everybody to have that perspective. Like I know people need rabbits to chase and they want to,
Hmm.
if there's not like there are people who are like, there's nobody competitive in this class, or I want to be more. I'm like, well, what do you need that for? So anyway, I think what I'm trying to get is like, I think that being your own rabbit is probably a better, more healthy way to go about it. I don't know. Where did that? Has that always been, or did you have to adjust from that, or is that just been you?
I think I've adjusted to that over the years because I didn't like how it made me feel to be a person that was pinning myself against somebody else. I
Hmm.
didn't like that feeling. And so I was like, okay, well, let's just separate it and kind of focus on, what can I do better? Or, and I think a lot of it is reading where you're at that day. Like some
Yeah.
days I'm not going to be ultra competitive. Other days I will be like, oh, I can keep up with this person. Like that's a good goal. But I just don't think that it's an everyday thing. And I think it's knowing where you're at and what makes you feel good. Because
Yeah.
like to me, it just didn't feel good to be, pinning myself against somebody else.
Especially not every day. I think that's the thing. One of the
Mhm.
other aspects I'd really like to kind of drive into people a little bit more. I just don't know how to like communicate it any better. But training and testing are two very different things, right? And to try and test every day where you're beating the hell out of yourself to try and win or you're making bad decisions based on the right training aspect. What would be the right training aspect in order to test is not a good way to go about things.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think back because so when we were in college, it was that every day. And so
Hmm.
you're mentally exhausted
Yeah.
and physically exhausted
Hmm.
every day.
Hmm.
And it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
I think maybe for certain people it's sustainable. For me, it is not. Um, yeah, and I think just knowing where you're at, and some days you don't feel good, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And you just do what you can, but it comes, I think, with time and being aware.
Right. I think that's it. I think it's gonna. You're going to like collide with that head on at some point because you're either gonna age out and just lose the
Mhm.
be able ability to perform against other people, or you're gonna burn out because, like you said, it's exhausting. Like I don't compete that much. I don't compete at all really in the gym. Sometimes I'll do the open a lot of years, but like it's exhausting to go in every day and be like, okay, somebody's chasing me. I'm chasing somebody else. I'm tired. Like, whatever. Can I just be left
Yeah,
alone?
yeah.
It's
And
really
like
hard.
the mental exhaustion and the anxiety that I feel from that
Yeah.
is so not worth it for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think some people love it, and that's wonderful for them. I'm just not that.
I think there's a good time and a place for it. I think if you can exercise that in different ways and know and have good limiters on it, like you said, like there are
Hmm.
days and you show up and you feel good and you want to spin the tires and see what's
Yeah.
possible for that day. Like awesome, but doing it 5 days a week, I've just seen a lot of burnout, injuries, and then like a weird ego death that happens, and the result on the other side is I don't think it's super fun for that to expose to like have to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how to fix it, but
It can go on the long list of things that need to be fixed in our world that we don't know how to fix. So, add
yeah.
that one to it.
It's also like you never run out of opponents. Like you could be the best in that class, but then probably for the whole day you might not. Like again, in the context of the
Hmm.
gym, but I see it in everywhere else. Like you said in ski racing, like you might have been the best here at Schweitzer. As you go to school, you're not, or
Yeah.
even if you were the best in your school, like then you got to go on the national stage, and then you got to go to the internet. Like there's always somebody,
Oh,
unless
yeah.
you're the absolute best, and then my God, that sounds exhausting to
You
me.
got to maintain that.
Yeah,
How do you maintain that?
right.
Like any athlete, they're going to have points where they have to pull back a little bit or take a break and
Yeah.
let somebody else kind of, and I mean, it could be from, like you said, injury, could
Hmm.
be from, mental load and they need to take a break on mental. And I think that's been coming out like a lot more with athletes lately, which is awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Michael Phelps is a really good example of that. Unfortunate, like it doesn't sound like it was a lot of fun for him. I don't know that he's quite conquered it, but like that exhaustion and that depression and the things that he was really public about for
Hmm.
something that I think a lot of people most likely looked at as like, how would you be depressed? Like you're the best swimmer of all time. You've got however 47 gold medals or whatever he has. Um, but to know that that person is really not well on the inside, I think is a good window into that.
Hmm. And the fact that he could still perform when
Yeah.
he felt that way is
Yeah.
a really, really impressive feat, in my opinion. I think mental capability is like the defining factor in so many areas of success.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I mean, I was not the best skier by all means, but I could go into a race and have a really solid mental state and do well because I was just okay in my
Hmm.
head.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just had it that little bit, it just holds you back and things don't go the way you want them to.
That's one of the things that appeals to me, and I'm a very untalented skier in relation to the rest of the world as far as like on a but one of the things I do love about going fast is like I don't have the capacity to think about much else. Like
Hmm.
that's it. Like that's a little bit of and CrossFit has appealed to me in that way too. Like with the maintaining a pace in a competitive environment or going fast, or like you really cannot look down. You can't look around. You can't think about anything else but what is immediately in front of you.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of fun. Or it's fun for one, but it's also like this movement meditation where you can just that's it. You tune everything else out.
Yeah, that's mountain biking for me
Mm.
because I'm not a good mountain biker, but it's always a good challenge, right? You're going out and you're like, okay, the second you have a doubt about making it up something or down something, then you're probably not going to do it. It's like if
Yeah.
you just one follow somebody who's better than you and then commit to it, you're probably going to be just fine.
Yeah.
That's like it's a hard thing to go with.
Yeah, it is. And then it's also, I think there's a little bit of that, again, kind of the evolution as an athlete to have to face that stuff out of the competitive field. Like if that's your escape, and I do see that in the gym too, is like the intensity is this escape. It's like, oh man,
Hmm.
there's something you're kind of running from, which I'm not trying to say every time I see somebody killing themselves, like, oh, you got something like, I know you've
I'm
got
gonna figure it out.
I know you got what is something you're dealing with. But I mean, I can say that for my personal thing. Like, I've had those times where I'm like, I'm just gonna go in and smash myself, so I don't have to think about this other thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how it's the adrenaline and intensity. I think in a lot of ways can be like a drug. I think people turn to drugs or alcohol or intensity as a way to shut that other stuff out that they probably might need to sit with for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to turn off the brain. It's a great thing to escape
Yeah.
and go and do. Yeah, skiing does that. The things that challenge me do that. So like sometimes, yes, the gym, if I want to push myself hard and forget about it. Mountain biking, like I said, snowmobiling for me, so hard. I'm not good at it. I don't know what I'm doing. Poor Nick Bandy taking me out and I'm like, Nick, what's going on? But my mind shuts off.
Does he ever lose his patience? I've never seen him lose his patience really.
I don't think so. I think, especially with the amount of children that he handles all the time. And yeah, just so patient with people learning new things. It's a very impressive skill.
So he's never like left you on the side of the mountain to the
Not yet.
stuck snowmobile. Okay, cool.
Not
That's
yet.
good. It'd be great if we aired this on this spot. We talked about that next meltdown on this.
Yeah. If it happens, I'll let you know and we'll do another podcast about it. But hopefully we won't get to that point.
Oh, we'd love that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I think hearing all of your perspectives on like your evolution as an athlete and your mental state and the journey of all that, like that's super cool. I think to be able to convey that to others would be it's really helpful. I hope people listen. Like for kids, for other people, like everybody, I think having that. I don't know. You seem to be having a pretty good time most of the damn time.
I try. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having fun, then it's a good day.
How do you do that? That's something I don't have. Like you seem like you seem to have an easy smile.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think it's just why not?
Yeah.
Like wouldn't you rather do that than sit in the corner and be mad or upset about something? I don't know. I guess that's kind of I have no idea where it comes from.
All right.
It's
Damn
just I know. I wish I had more tips on it.
it. I was hoping you had the unlock for me.
Yeah.
It sounds great. I love it. I'm not. Yeah, I think I'm more of a like dweller kind of person. Like I kind of dwell on stuff internally. But anyways, I hear what you say and I see. I'm like that looks nice. I wish that was more my demeanor. So when you figure it out.
It's
Let me
not
know.
always. We
Another
all have our
podcast.
downfalls, so
Yeah.
I just, I try for it.
Yeah. This is actually maybe coming back around to that. Like, what was your performance like? And you said you were pretty damn good in college. Like, how do you deal with losses? How do you deal with poor performance?
I did pretty good. I was like, it's one, sports are amazing, but it's also just a sport. So if I sucked for a run, I'd be like, well, it's just ski racing. It's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world for me. I have another chance. And if I don't have another chance now, then I have another chance tomorrow. Like it didn't go my way, but that's okay. So I would bounce back pretty quick. I was pretty notorious for that with my friends at ski race. They were does any of this bother you? I'm like, well, yeah, like, of course I want to do well, but you know, is my world going to end because I don't know? Could I improve? Yes.
That's so good. Again, that's one of those things. Like, it sounds so good, and it sounds like that if you could just flip a switch, like that sounds like obviously the best way to do it. And I think like you said before, your performance would reflect the ability to turn the page and move on to the next event and not worry about it so much. I think there's a weird, and I'm one of those people who all the sports I played, like I would be pissed. Like if I didn't perform well, like it would just rattle me, but it would be more like angry. And I think there was a weird intention. Like I feel like if I wasn't mad, I didn't care. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yes, I do know what you mean. And I did have that up until I went to college.
Hmm.
And maybe not severely, but I had a little bit of that up until I went to college. And there was a lot of that throughout the other athletes that I was around. And I think it's good to care, but I think there's also some joy and like relief in not caring so much.
Totally. Yeah, and I think it's just it's a kind of representation of knowing that you are supposed to care and that you are so disappointed in yourself that you're going to dwell on it because it means that much to you. It's not productive, but I think I'm not sure where it comes from or what the psychology behind it is, but I think that there's some of that where it's like, I gotta be mad because if I'm not, then it means I don't care.
That's true. I think, I don't know, it must have been a historical thing, I would guess, to like see the people that are professional athletes. And if they are upset by their bad performance, it just shows people that they do care. And so like people kind of grabbed onto that, I would guess. I don't know. But I also noticed that when I saw the guys that were like breaking their poles and throwing their skis and all this stuff, I was like, man, I don't want to look like that. So I'm going to do the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who did you like? What was your dad a role model in that, or did you have other role models that you would see that would be good representations of? I'm gonna say failure, but probably isn't the right word. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. I never really got to see my dad race. I mean, he did some masters racing. I think he had an impact in that, and he was very much like, it's important how you carry yourself and how you react to things. And so, like I said, when I would see those people, it was like that was frowned upon, right? Against certain, and parents would be in the sides like, oh gosh, that kid just threw their pole and broke their ski. And yeah, so I was like, I just don't want to be known for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never a good look. I know that for a fact. But still, there's somewhat modeling of it. That, like you said, must have come from some historical representation of
Yeah,
it where
I don't know. We should look into that.
well, I can speak to it as a parent because it is hard sometimes to discern whether or not your kid's trying. Um, like there's like a weird thing. Like I know when I'm watching Garrison, I'm like, he is not in it. Like he's just not trying today. And I don't know if he's because he doesn't care or
Hmm.
because he just doesn't have it in him. And so I wonder if that's something that too as a parent to be like, what are we doing here? Like you seem like you're screwing around.
Yeah, but I think there's a total difference between um, not caring it and not being in it. Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
just some days where you're not going to be in it.
Yeah.
And then, some other ones where it's like, okay, why don't you care today?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question, I think, with, kids racing or kids in sports and what's going on in their mental state that they just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I think there's a line as a parent of a younger athlete to be like, there's a line of like, okay, are we having fun? Like, okay, because it's like having fun is fun, but doing the sport is all like, there's a line. Like, if you're playing grab ass and picking dandelions for the whole game, that's probably fun. Probably not what we're here to do. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Again,
Yeah. That's a good
we have
point.
lots of unsolved things. We're coming away with more questions than answers, but that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll have
I
some
know we probably
research.
should have written all these down for later. Like, why are we the way we are?
Well, if we had these answers, I think we'd might have a bigger platform and maybe some books and some things we'd be educating people.
True.
But I do think again, to wrap that all up, you are a great representation of that. So I think if more people can take away that attitude of like I don't know, enjoying your I don't know, maybe I'll let you sum it up. What's your yeah
I think it also has to do with passion, right?
yeah
Like I was passionate about it. I loved it. Um, but I also knew just it wasn't the end of the world. You want to win, you want to do well. That's amazing. But it's okay if you don't.
yeah,
And it
and I think
teaches you a lot when you don't win.
totally.
Hmm.
And I think you said this before, but dwelling on the loss probably only compounds your performance in the future. So to just
Hmm.
move past it and not have that in your head will allow you to actually be better in the future.
Yeah. The moment that you start thinking about, like, I remember one time I had a race that I had done really well on, and it was like shocking. Like I mean, I went out and I was like, I'm gonna give it my all and have fun, and I ended up getting like second place at a college race, which was very rare for an American to make a podium. And then the next day, like I was so happy with that, but the next day I went out there and I just started doubting myself. Like, can I do this again? Was that a fluke? That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
sure. Yep.
And I ended up like blowing out halfway down the run,
Yeah.
so like the moment I just let it kind of take over
Yeah.
and you're done.
Yeah. Past isn't all that helpful a lot of the time. Like just about
Hmm.
thinking about either whether it's success or failure. Sometimes that's just makes it worse. Just stay in the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna let you go. This has been awesome though. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That was fun.
Cool. Good. All right, we'll do it again when we have all the answers. We'll come back and
When we have all the answers and when Nick loses his patience with me snowmobiling, then
and when your next dog's sleeping in the bed, we'll have a follow
yeah,
up on that one. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully that won't be for a while. I think you guys, you know, no dogs, but
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I would have like 20,000 dogs if I could. It's just
yeah,
dog sitters
yeah.
and the amount
See,
that we travel.
yeah, me too. I would have another 5 or 6 Daphnes. Jen is less enthused about the idea, but I want a flock of doodles,
A flock of doodles.
a flock of doodles, and I already have my Instagram handle. It's the Dude Ranch. Like, how could you not have the
Oh,
Dude Ranch of
wow.
doodles? Yeah,
I kind of like the flock of doodles
flock.
at the Dude Ranch.
Yes. See, it's already. I don't see any problems with this plan at all.
No, you could definitely get sponsored and,
Yep.
have a whole page.
Just the
It'd be
grooming
great.
on a flock of doodles would probably bankrupt me. So that I definitely need some sponsors. So if you are a dog groomer and want to sponsor my half a dozen doodles,
The
let me
flock
know.
of doodles.
Flock of doodles. All right, that's
You
a
need
good place to end. I love it.
That was so good.
Okay, thanks, Courtney.
All
Probably
right,
see you
thanks. Have
tomorrow.
a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
All right, thank you so much for listening. I know you enjoyed that. Don't forget that you can get 15% off your order at Momentous Supplements by going to livemomentoussupplements livemomentous.com and entering the code word Sandpoint Strength, all one word. And if you were so inspired by our conversation today and you are not currently a member at our gym, just reach out to me, Kenny at sandpointstrength.com, and I will help get you all set up and squared away.